Good morning. Let's see if I can share
Good
a
morning.
good morning. I'm going to try to share a screen here. Let's get to the desktop and let me get to the correct thing. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Another
I'm trying to
beautiful
stay
day. Is it
trying to stay dry.
springtime getting there where you are? Is it just about spring yet?
It's the weather is horrible. School was canceled. I'm in Louisiana. School is canceled, and there's flooding everywhere.
Okay, all right, because
So
of the rain.
it's uh,
Yeah, we are. I'm in Southwest Missouri, and we are on the other end of it, but it's going a little bit east of us. You guys are getting it more, and then it's heading a little more east. So we're not. We were supposed to get flooding rain, and we're actually not. So we kind of dodged the bullet. But it's spring break here for the kids, and everything is just totally soaking wet and no fun. But oh well, we will. Hopefully. Okay, and who do I have here with me?
this is Jennifer.
Okay, Jennifer, I thought it might be you. I thought I might have recognized your voice. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to, I guess we're in the middle of week number 2 now already. And we have, as usual, there are a couple of discussion questions and there is an assignment for the week. So, as we keep going in leadership this week, we had a couple of interesting questions for discussion. The first one was, do you believe that the presence of a charismatic leader tends to enhance the job satisfaction of a group? It says, let's see, it says that I'm unstable here. That's great. Um, let's see. So we've got 4 people who have already talked about that. Jennifer, what do you think? What do you think about someone who is charismatic? What are the things that come to mind when we talk about someone who is charismatic? What's that seem like to you?
I think that it's a plus to have someone that's charismatic on a job because it makes it not really work. Um you don't cringe when you think you have to go to work. It's kind of something that you enjoy doing and somebody you enjoy being around because they make it feel like it's not work. It's just something you can do with somebody who gives you inspiration and who helps you along the way. And it kind of blurs the line of management because you feel like the person is not, even though they're over you, you feel like you can still go to them and it's still easy to talk to them. And if you have a problem, you don't feel, uh, intimidated to be around them or to ask for help if you need it. So I
Okay.
think it just makes everybody's life easier.
Charisma, I don't know if charisma is something that can be learned. I think charisma is more, to me, it's more about personality, the way someone carries themselves, the way that they respond to other people, the way that they interact with people and their environment. And I think that if you get a charismatic leader, all of those things that you just said are true. People who are charismatic, other people want to follow them. Other people want to be around them. And one of the biggest complaints that people have about work, work is a 4-letter word, is that you wake up in the morning hating to go. And if you wake up in the morning and you hate to go where you need to go at least 5 days a week, and many of us end up seeing our coworkers more than we see our family and our friends, if you really dislike that, that makes for a pretty miserable week. If on the flip side, you are drawn to a person who you work with or who you technically work for, I think that it does make getting up and going to work in the morning not as traumatic as it can be for some people. The idea that you're going to go in and work with someone who you like, who listens to what you have to say, who appears to value people and value the process, I think does make it a lot easier. The other thing that this says is a charismatic leader. They're not saying, a charismatic boss, but a charismatic leader. And a leader, by definition, to me, is someone who wants to bring people to the next level, not just drag people along, but who actually wants to lead them toward something that is going to be better for everyone involved. So I think you did a good job mentioning all of those things. Jennifer, are you in here twice? I see the 337 phone number, and then I see your name. Is that you in here twice?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
All right. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing another person who was here. So, okay. All right. So,
Yeah, my kids' home. I'm having this around. I want to make sure that I'm covered.
okay, good. All right. So, charismatic leader, that is the first discussion board for the week. Now, the second discussion board for this week, which is due on Friday, would you be willing to accept a smaller salary increase or bonus so your employer could invest in a socially responsible cause, such as providing shelter for homeless people or internet access for poor children? This is kind of a loaded question. And when we get to this question, when I teach this class, I always kind of give people a little bit of an out in a way. And I say, look, here are some things that I want you to think about. Normally when we are asked to help someone who is less fortunate than we are, if somebody puts you on the spot and says, hey Jennifer, we're all going to raise money and sponsor a child on on Make-A-Wish or something for Toys for Tots for Christmas. Don't you want to join in? Well, I think, when people come at you like that, it's kind of like, oh, gee, if I don't, how am I going to be perceived? Am I going to be perceived as being cheap or stingy or not willing to help people, selfish? So it's a little bit of a loaded question, a little bit of a loaded situation, because I think that when you read this, automatically you feel like you should say, oh, yes, absolutely. I would be willing to take something less in order to allow my employer to do something that is socially responsible. Now, having said that, I tell people, it's okay to say no, you wouldn't. It may be that you are in no position to be helping someone else. There is an old adage that says that charity begins at home. And sometimes we do need to take care of things for ourselves and get ourselves good before we can go out and help others. Another thing to look at with social responsibility, and I'm not saying that I think your answer should be yes or no. I just want to give everyone kind of both sides of the coin. Social responsibility is something that's been around for the last, 20 or 30 years. And it's this concept that employers and businesses maybe ought to look further than just the bottom line being monetary in a business. If you talk to economists, they will tell you that the reason that a business exists is to make money for the people who own the business and took the risk in the business. Now, having said that, social responsibility says, well, maybe it shouldn't just be about money. Maybe it should be about giving back to the community and doing things that make a business a good corporate neighbor. Okay, that sounds good, but some people then also look at it and think, well, maybe what should happen is you pay people the amount that they deserve to be paid for the job that they're doing, and then each person can, in and of their own choices, decide what they are going to give, what they are going to donate, where they are going to give it, and when they are going to give it. So, I think I worked for an insurance company many years ago, and one of the things that they did was they offered an option for you to have a small percentage of your salary taken from each paycheck and given to the local United Way. And it was a very small amount, but everybody giving a very small amount turned into a pretty big donation from the company. Sometimes when you take a small amount on a weekly basis, it certainly doesn't hurt the same as it would to write a check for $100 in one felt swoop. So I think just when you look at this, don't feel like if you make a decision that you wouldn't agree to this, that other classmates or myself or other people would look at you and go, "Oh, gee, I can't believe that they would not want to be a part of this." So those are my comments on that. Any comments that you have, Jennifer?
Yes, I've been waiting. In a situation like this, I look at it and I think to myself, it depends. Because if I'm working for a small company or, there's a lot of mom and pop companies around Louisiana, a lot of small businesses. And if they decide they want to do something like help the charity or something, then I wouldn't have an issue, doing my part. But if I work for a national chain or just a large company that's doing well, who you never even see the top executives on a daily basis or even on a yearly basis, then I am more prone to saying that the company should take it out of their own profits because they're making enough money to where they shouldn't have to solicit charitable donations from the employees and then submit it in the company name as if they're giving the donation themselves.
Okay.
And other people can choose to do so on their own. But companies, I worked for a company and they did that for the United Way. And, they submit the donation in the company's name and they get a tax break for it. But they also get the notoriety from it as well.
Okay.
And, it just makes it seem, I think that the company shouldn't look to their employees to do something they should be doing that will be socially responsible.
Okay. All right. I think the good thing was when we did it through the insurance company that I worked for, at the end of the year on your W-2, it showed the amount that you had contributed. And so then we were able to then take that as a charitable contribution off of our taxes. So they were very above board. I mean, the contribution was made on behalf of the employees of our office, but through the company, but each and every one of us got our own quote unquote tax write-off, I guess, from having done something for a local charity. So okay, I think you and I are on the same page with this, that I think it does depend. It depends on your personal situation, depends on the company's situation, depends on who's making the decision as to what the socially responsible cause is. If the employees are getting together and making that choice, okay, we're each going to give $5 from our next paycheck, and there are 100 of us, so that's $500, and now we're going to decide who it is that's going to get that. I think that might make it more palatable for people also. Okay.
I think that's a good idea, too, letting them decide who they're going to donate to.
Yep. Let's see. Okay. And social responsibility comes in all different manners. There is a restaurant near my home in Massachusetts, and they do a really cool thing. Every month, they make a donation to a different charity, and the way that they fund their donation is they have made a decision to not accept credit cards. And most people nowadays, when you go into a restaurant, you're using a credit card or a debit card. Many of us, like myself, I don't even carry cash hardly anymore. I use a debit card. But when you go to that place, you need to know that you need to bring cash. So what they do is at the end of the month, they add up how much they would have paid in fees to credit and debit card companies, and they take that amount of money and they go ahead and donate it to a different charity every month. So that's kind of a neat way of, you are actually helping by bringing cash and not having the company be charged the fee, but they're turning around and taking the savings that they make each month from that and donate it out. So it's kind of a cool way to get it done, I think. All right. Week 2 assignment. Discuss whether or not you subscribe to the notion that a leader must be natural born. Do you believe that someone without any leadership traits or skill can be taught and trained to be an effective leader? Now, the first thing I want to remind everyone is, last week the paper was 250 to 300 words. This week it is up to the 500 to 600 words. So go ahead and make sure that you are bumping up the amount of words that you have for this paper. We touched on this a little bit by talking about, do you think that charisma is something that can be taught? And I said, I think that personally for charisma, not so much. But I do believe that there are other aspects of leadership that you definitely can teach people. Some of those things are things that are going to make them a great leader, but I think some of the other things are really things that can't so much be taught, that they kind of do need to be natural born. And I guess those are more of the personality traits, I think. All right, Jennifer, I know you have something to say about this, so go for it.
I think it's always better. Let me see. Let me not say. I think a lot of times you can tell a natural born leader opposed to someone who was trained.
Okay.
I think a natural born person has a lot more insight and different ways of looking at things. And when you're trained or taught something, I think you're kind of taught, in between lines and, how to do things by the book and not so much outside of the box.
Okay. I think that's an excellent comment. Yeah, I think that someone who is kind of naturally inclined to be good at whatever it is, and it doesn't even need to be leadership. We could be talking about playing baseball. We could be talking about cooking. We could be talking about learning a foreign language. We could be talking about being a public speaker. In almost anything that someone does, if they have kind of natural born talents already there, I think that things flow more easily. And I think you're right that you can tell when someone has had to really work hard at it and is doing something in a mechanized way versus it's just kind of effortless. You watch some people sing, and you can see that they're doing a really good job, but that they're trying really hard. And then other people you watch sing, and you can tell it's like no effort. They just open their mouth and something beautiful comes out of it because there is that natural born talent that didn't have to be trained as much as it just was kind of refined. And so I think that,
Right.
we can apply that to a leader. And the idea that a natural born leader probably, as you said, can think out of the box and can kind of come up with solutions on the fly rather than, okay, hold on, let me go back and consult my my books and my training manuals and get back to you. I think that definitely is a true statement. Very good. Okay.
And I think charisma comes into play with that situation as well because some people may put a lot more value into something that somebody had to take the time to learn rather than something that just came natural to them.
Okay. All right. Very good. All excellent points. Okay. So, anything else that you want to add for week number 2? I think those are interesting topics. And I think that when, like anything else, when the topics are interesting, I think people enjoy working through them more. So hopefully, for those of you who are still working on your discussions, Wednesdays was due last night, so please make sure y'all jump in there and get that one done. Fridays is due tomorrow. It's going to be Friday again. So go ahead and get those main posts in and make sure that you have your comments in to everyone by Sunday evening. The paper is due Sunday as well as your quiz. All right, Jennifer, anything else that you want to bring up before I let you guys go for today?
No, that was it.
Okay. All right. Well, then I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope it stops raining. How many more days are they talking about rain down there, Jennifer?
2 to 3, we're supposed to get 12 inches of rain.
12 inches. That's hurricane rain.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of rain that we see in hurricanes down in Florida for sure. So, all right. Well, try to stay dry. Rain is good, but not that much at the same time. So, try to stay dry. Try to enjoy as much of your week as you can. And we'll get together next week, and we'll already be in week number 3.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.